The sun was already sinking when Alex heard the scream, sharp, terrified, and swallowed by the ocean wind. He didn't think. He didn't hesitate. He just ran. And as he sprinted across the sand, he had no idea the unconscious woman he was about to save would turn his entire world upside down, or that she'd be the first person to make his broken heart feel alive again. The waves crashed hard against the shore, pulling at the limp woman's body as Alex reached her. His breath caught, not because he recognized her, but because she wasn't breathing. He dropped to his knees, the sand digging into his palms, and began CPR with the steady determination that had kept him standing through life's storms. His daughter, Mia, watched a few feet away, wide-eyed, clutching her seashell bucket. "Daddy, is she going to die?" she whispered. Alex didn't answer. He just pressed harder. Counting. Hoping. Begging the universe not to let another life slip through his hands. After the longest seconds of his life, the woman gasped, water spraying from her lips as she choked on air. Her eyes fluttered open, disoriented, frightened, and searching, until they found his. And Alex, the man who rarely let himself feel anything anymore, felt something shift, something he couldn't name. Something he would never forget. She stayed on the sand for several minutes, dazed, coughing, fragile. Alex kept speaking calmly, grounding her with his steady voice. He didn't know her name, didn't know her world, didn't know that saving her would pull him into a life he'd never imagined, one filled with secrets, pressure, and a kind of love he had long stopped believing in. He didn't know any of that. All he knew was that a stranger had come back to life in his hands. And that, somehow, she didn't feel like a stranger at all. The next day, the woman returned to that same beach. Her body still ached, but her chest felt even heavier with something else, a need to see the man who saved her. The man who didn't ask her for anything. The man who didn't know she was worth billions. She spotted him from afar, carrying Mia on his shoulders, their laughter chasing the wind. Something inside her cracked open. She walked toward them, her heartbeat louder than the waves. Alex turned, surprised, and for the first time in years, someone looked at him like he was more than a tired single father fighting to make ends meet. More than a man haunted by loss. She looked at him like he mattered. Her name was Evelyn Hart. He didn't know that Hart Industries was printed across half the skyscrapers in the country. He only knew she had a soft voice, warm eyes, and a quiet strength beneath her delicate exterior. They talked. And kept talking. Hours slipped by like minutes. Mia adored her instantly, climbing into her lap as if she'd known her forever. Alex tried not to notice how natural it looked. How dangerous it felt. Evelyn left the beach that day with sand on her shoes, and Alex's voice echoing in her chest longer than it should have, but their world wasn't built on equal ground. Alex's life was simple, steady, fragile. Evelyn's life was a hurricane disguised as luxury, meetings, paparazzi, investors, expectations she never asked for. When she returned to her penthouse, her assistant nearly fainted at her appearance. "Miss Hart, the board has been panicking. Where were you?" Evelyn only touched her lips, remembering the taste of sea salt and fear and gratitude. Alex didn't know her life. Didn't know what he'd saved. And she wasn't ready to tell him, not yet. Not when she finally felt like someone saw her instead of her net worth. Days passed. They met again. And again. Sometimes by coincidence. Sometimes by intention. Alex found himself looking for her silhouette against the sunset, and Evelyn found herself rearranging her schedule just to hear Mia's giggle again. The three of them fit together in a way that felt frighteningly perfect, like a piece of her heart she hadn't known was missing had finally clicked into place. But just when the invisible threads between them grew stronger, Evelyn's world crashed into Alex's without warning. It happened on an ordinary afternoon. Evelyn had taken Mia for ice cream while Alex finished a job at the marina. They were walking back when a crowd gathered around them, flashes firing, microphones pushing forward, voices shouting, "Evelyn Hart. Is it true you're dating a fisherman? Is he using you? Who is the child?" Evelyn froze. Mia trembled, confused and scared. And Alex, sprinting toward them after hearing the commotion, saw the truth in a single horrifying moment. Evelyn wasn't just Evelyn. She was her. The billionaire on every magazine cover. The woman people wanted pieces of. The woman he thought he could trust. He grabbed Mia, shielding her, and pulled Evelyn away from the chaos. Anger. Hurt. Betrayal. All of it stormed in his chest. She tried to explain, breathless and panicked, "Alex, I wanted to tell you, but the truth was too big. Too loud. Too different from the quiet life he'd built around Mia." He turned away, feeling foolish for believing peace could ever last for him. Evelyn watched him walk off with his daughter, knowing she had saved so many companies, so many lives, yet couldn't save the one connection that truly mattered. Evelyn spent the next days in silence, the world spinning around her like a machine she couldn't escape. Meetings blurred. Calls piled up. Empty rooms felt colder than ever. She had everything money could buy. But without Alex? Without Mia's laughter? She had nothing she actually wanted. Meanwhile, Alex tried to return to normal, but every glance at the beach, every seashell Mia brought him, every memory of Evelyn's smile, it all made normal impossible. It was Mia who broke first. "Daddy," she whispered one night, holding a seashell to her chest, "why did you make Evelyn sad?" Alex's heart cracked open. He had taught his daughter bravery, honesty, compassion, and here he was running from the one person who had shown him all of it. He knew then what he had to do. He found Evelyn exactly where he feared he wouldn't, back on the beach where it all began. Alone, hugging her knees, the wind lifting her hair like it remembered her better than he did. Alex stepped beside her quietly. She stiffened, then slowly looked up. Tears blurred her vision. "I'm sorry," she whispered before he could speak. "I was scared you'd treat me differently. I didn't want to lose the one person who saw me as a human being, not a price tag." Alex sank into the sand beside her. "I wasn't angry because of who you are. I was angry because I felt replaced. Overwhelmed. I've lived my whole life fighting to give me a stability. I didn't think I fit into your world." Evelyn touched his hand, gentle as a heartbeat. "Then let's build a world that fits all three of us." The sun dipped, painting their shadows across the shore. And in that moment, simple, quiet, real, they chose each other. Not the billionaire. Not the fisherman. Not the single dad. Not the lonely woman. Just two souls who met in the most impossible way, and somehow became impossible to let go of. Months later, as they walked the beach with Mia's tiny hands in theirs, the ocean hummed beside them, no longer a place of fear, but of miracles. Evelyn had stepped back from the noise of her empire. Alex had stepped forward into a life where love didn't feel like a risk, but a reward. And Mia, giggling between them, didn't realize she had been the one to tie their hearts together all along.